Hey everyone, this is Nadia, the product designer at GitLab from the Verified Pipeline Authoring team, and today I'd like to share with you a little bit about how I set my short-term and long-term goals when it comes to my growth at GitLab and my career at large, and how I track my progress on those goals weekly with weekly retrospectives. So if you haven't seen yet, about a month ago, I made a video about my process for setting personal OKRs and how that experiment went and all of the different lessons that I learned from that experience. I wasn't very successful in completing all of those OKRs, and eventually, after working with Hayana on the process and getting feedback from others on our team, I figured out a different process and now trying something different with setting my goals for the next couple of quarters. So first of all, I went ahead and I renamed the OKRs into personal goals because turns out that at GitLab, OKRs have a very specific meaning. Usually OKRs are tracked across a department. However, some of our individual contributors have personal OKRs, but only at staff level, as far as I know. So product designers or senior product designers don't typically have personal OKRs. So just to avoid any confusion, I renamed them to personal development goals. So I want to become a senior product designer at GitLab at some point. So I wanted to create like a master plan of all of the different things that I hope to achieve to get myself to that level. Maybe this plan is a bit of an overkill. This is kind of my plan for the next half year, maybe even longer. Um, but my main goal that I'm keeping in mind is to grow as a product designer, to grow into the senior product designer role. So you can see that this plan is quite overwhelming. There's a lot of different things that I want to accomplish. Um, However, all of these different things uh, they can be quite small. So, for example, scheduling recurring meetings with someone if I feel like this is something I need to focus on to foster a cross-stage collaboration, um, like setting up coffee chats and things like that. Just general goal to share these recordings and notes broadly. So these are not necessarily very big projects, all of them, but still, this is just difficult to work with because this list is very long. And as you can see, there's no clear priority to all of these different tasks and different goals. So luckily, I worked together with Hayana to narrow down my focus for the nearest quarter. So together we're using this issue to track my career development goals for Q1. So here I'm focusing on a handful of the most important things that we think will bring me closer to becoming a senior product designer. So some things that I'm focusing on is running CMS for pipeline authoring, which is a kind of special usability test that we run at GitLab to evaluate the maturity of our product. I want to make sure that I'm recording kickoffs together with Dove. So a lot of the goals that I have focus on collaboration within my stage or my group. And another thing that I'm trying is doing Focus Fridays, which is a day that I dedicate to my career development. So all of the things that I want to achieve within this plan. So of course, I prioritize things that I need to focus on for this quarter. But if I have time left over, I also go into my master plan, and that's where I take little steps to work on things like recording this video so I can share more about my process. And feel free to poke around if you're curious and see what are the things that I wish to do in the next 6 months or so. But yeah, this is how I plan long term. And of course, it's very important to also track my weekly and daily progress. So what I do is I have these weekly documents where I write out all of the different tasks that I need to do, the stage work, other work, anything that I'm doing that contributes to pajamas. And I also have a special section here for Focus Fridays. And that's where I have all of these helpful links collected to my personal development plan for Q1, our UX OKRs that I also need to track, my 6 months plan, things like that. And that's where I have some recurring tasks as well. For example, I want to make sure that I take time every week to provide feedback in a UX co-working channel on Slack. This is something that I can easily forget when I'm really busy with stage work and other things, and it's difficult for me to kind of find the time to do this during the week because I'm generally really focused on some deep work and design issues or jumping between meetings. So having one day on Friday when I can just sit down and go through the UX co-working channel and provide feedback for everyone if I feel like I have something to contribute, that is really helpful. And something that really helps me stay on track and helps me improve is my weekly retrospective. So in my weekly documents, I have a section called Wins and Lessons, and that's where I write down, I kind of reflect back on my week and I write down the things that I think went well. So these are my wins of the week, the things that didn't go so well, and what I learned. So it's similar to a retrospective that you would see us doing at the end of the month, but I like doing it at the end of every week because I feel like sometimes I struggle with feeling this sense of accomplishment at the end of the week. I tend to underestimate how much I accomplished and set my bar too high and expect too much of myself, sometimes setting unrealistic goals. So I actually feel like wins of the week is the most important section for me here because it allows me to kind of list all of the different things that I did and I accomplished, and it helps me feel good about the work that I'm doing, and it helps me see that I am actually creating value and contributing. And conveniently, it's also right there online for anyone to see. So my manager, for example, can go in and see what I'm doing as well. So everything is documented. I try to list as many things as I can that were positive this week to just make myself feel good. I think there's no shame in doing that. So if you struggle with like imposter syndrome or just not feeling good enough about your work, I really recommend you try something like that. Think of it as kind of professional journaling of sorts. And I also write transparently about the things that didn't go so well. For example, now I'm struggling a little bit with communication on my team between UX and product and engineering. Dove, my PM, and I are still fairly new to working with the pipeline authoring team. So we're still figuring out how to collaborate with the engineering team. So I try to write these things down, the things that worry me, the things that I don't like how they're going. It helps me just put them down on paper, so to speak, and make sure that I don't lose track of these problems and I don't swipe them under the rug. And it helps me focus on improving. So I write down what didn't go so well and I try to identify some actionable steps if I can. If not, I sometimes just honestly use this place to rant about the things that worry me. And it also helps, on Friday I do that and I start my weekend without feeling like the burden of some unresolved problems. So yeah, I also have some sections here where that I use kind of as a dump for any ideas or thoughts on what I need to do next week and what I might do later. So plan for later. This is just like a dumping ground for anything that any ideas that I have that I don't have time to work on right now. So all of that helps me stay on track. Let me know how you do that. How do you organize your tasks? How do you keep track of your long-term and short-term goals? I know everyone has a different process. Yeah, hopefully you found this helpful and have a great day. Bye.